This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What's up, guys? We are back for a Wednesday here. Dudes Who Bet Sports, a little bit of a special Wednesday show. Papa Dude with 4th of July. And we're going to cover Prairie Meadows, and we're going to cover the Iowa Festival of Racing. I know this is, I don't know, is it our second favorite festival of racing behind Oaklawn's, I guess?
Well, we kind of cut our teeth. I think we went from Oaklawn, and I think the next track we got really interested in was Iowa when we were first starting Prairie Meadows for a couple of reasons. Our favorite trainer is stationed there, and that was part of the reason. It is a good place to go and cut your teeth on if you want to try to learn racing. It's a great track. It's great. Des Moines is really good. It's a great place to go visit. Very pretty track. It's at night most of the time. It's really good. So, yeah, I think it is our second favorite. I mean, we've come to love Remington as well. Of course, you are a Saratoga guy now too. But the first three tracks we kind of cut our teeth on were Oaklawn, Prairie Meadows, and Remington. So it's kind of our circuit, I guess you'd say.
Yep, that was our circuit. And like I said, when Oaklawn ended, we were like, well, where do these horses go? And Prairie Meadows, especially at that time back in, 06, 07, 08, in that time, that a lot of them went up there. Now it's less now, but still quite a good a number of them go up there, and it's still a big time meet, like you said. And I think we started to get into Lone Star a little bit, but now what's happened with the Texas racing situation, you can't bet it, so we had to fade that away. But Prairie Meadows definitely something we've been involved in for a long time. So with that being said, we did the show last year. I'm going to go ahead and put Friday's card up here now. We did the show last year, and boy, kind of some normal results and then some crazy results from this festival last year. I feel like we get that a little bit more and more as each year goes. It definitely feels like once again this year, it's kind of horses coming from everywhere.
Yeah, and that's what you get up there because a lot of these trainers are not stationed there, and it's a track where the favorites win a lot. But when you get to the festival, that's not what happens. And it seems like we have a lot of upsets. You never know what's going to happen. And, the fields aren't bad this year. There's been some horses that have come that we know pretty well. So it's going to be interesting to see who we pick and who actually wins.
Kevin B chimes in, says this track plays so weird some days. It didn't used to, but it does. I feel like now I totally agree with Kevin. I remember, when we first started following it, if you drew inside and you had speed, you could mark that down as a win.
That's right.
Pretty much every time, if you drew post 1, 2, or 3, and you had speed, you were going to win this thing. So, and that definitely has not been the case in recent years. I feel like it's still a track like any dirt track where speed helps, but it does play quite weird. So we're going to go through the 4 stakes races Friday and the 4 stakes races on Saturday. Obviously, you're going to kick off Friday. We're just going to go in order here. I've got it up on the screen, so let's get it going, Papa Dude. Race 6 on the card here. The Iowa Sprint, 6 furlongs, $100,000 the purse. We have a field of 6. Who are you looking at? Where are you leaning in this race?
Well, this one I thought was, I don't want to say easy because none of them are easy, but I didn't spend a lot of time on this one. I just kind of zeroed on 2. The 4 and the 1. I don't know. Did you go any different than that?
I think I think this is wide open, honestly. I have not decided how deep I want to play these pick 4s and pick 5s yet. I just focused on picking the winner for today's race and a little bit of or for today's show, I should say, and a little bit of, who's going to contend. I'll finish that all up tomorrow, but I do think this one's wide open. And the reason I say that, you mentioned the 4 Jackson Traveler. Sure, his best race is probably going to win here, but he has been far from being his best in those last couple of efforts. I looked at a horse like Necker Island. Can he actually win a race like this? Yeah. Maybe, but can he do it off of what he did last time out? Second start off the layoff. I'm not sure. You mentioned Count the Monet. Obviously a great name, by the way. He is in good form. And you look at a horse like Peace Dog. very good form, both these horses, but been running against a lot lesser companies. So it was a very confusing race to me.
Yeah, and that's why I settled on the 4. I don't obviously Asmussen doesn't think a whole lot of the horse to send it here for 100K, but he also likes to win races. And he was in great form back in the spring, late winter, early spring, and has lost it. But he was in the grade 3 count fleet, won by a great horse, Skelly. Skelly's just a really good horse, and I think you throw that one out. The Maryland Sprint, you kind of look at that one. He did not run well at all.
Yeah, 6-1 in that race too, and did not run a step. And you look at the top 3 finishers here: Super Child, Prevalence, Prince of Jericho. Not exactly
no
horses to be scared of.
No, and that's the one that's got me a little scared. The thing about the one in his start, which was at Prairie Meadows, and it was a 50K, I guess you would say is kind of the prep for this, got out to the lead, and I don't know what was in this race, probably nothing. Won by 3 lengths, took the lead, nobody challenged the horse. So, could he get the lead today and keep it? I don't see why he couldn't. So that's something you look at too. So I settled on the 4 and the 1. Necker Island is one of those horses I think he's seen his better days.
Yeah.
7 years old, hasn't won a race in a long time. I can't bet that horse. I just can't. Bourbon Heist is another one, coming off of 6th place at Churchill after he won an allowance, and he'd won an allowance at Turfway Park, and has been running pretty well. Again, could win. You can make a case for all of them, really. Peace Dog, 2 straight wins, an allowance at Prairie Meadows. Well, 2 allowances at Prairie Meadows. What did he beat?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I settled on the 4 just because of past history. And, I know how Asmussen is. I think he thinks he can get 100K here and get this horse maybe back on track. So that's where I went.
Yeah, this is a situation, all 8 races we're going to talk about today. It's going to be a situation of, do we want the local or do we want the shippers? And you kind of laid it out. I just don't think these shippers are very good. And so I did go with the local. I went with the horse on the rail. So, I think that's kind of, that was the debate. If I was going to take the shipper, I would take Jackson Traveler over the Necker Island Confidence Game Bourbon Heist group there. I would take Jackson Traveler. So I've got him in second, I guess you could say, but Count de Monet for me. I like the number 1 horse here. Won the local prep for this.
Yep.
And look, I think the end of the day got a great chance to get a similar trip that he did in that last race. And if he does, am I really confident that one of these horses are going to be able to run him down? I mean, maybe they will, but I really think if he can kind of get out to that lead again, he's going to be tough. Second race since being claimed as well, and I think it was a big trainer upgrade to Contreras for this horse, and I think we saw it. The horse woke up, ran a pretty huge race after getting claimed for 32. So, look, I'm going to give him a shot here. I think it's just a pretty weak race overall, but look, I do think with Jackson Traveler, if you can get back to the Whitmore, you're going to win. So, I may just go 1-4 here and move on. You mentioned Peace Dog. I'm afraid he's in a little too tough here.
I can't do it.
I couldn't either. It's hard for me to take an Archie Bred outside of Oaklawn. I've seen that horse not run well in the past.
The reason why I went ahead and did Jackson Traveler, if the horse, like you said, gets back to form, I don't think Count de Monet can hold him off. I don't. So that's why I went there. It's on previous track record, but that last race was not good.
No, it's probably a fair point. Kevin B brings it up, and he's right. When the horse is good, you get a good version of you get a horse that wins this type of race. When you look back over his past performances, these are the races he wins. So I can't blame anybody for wanting to play him, because these are spots where he wins. I just really worry about, is he in that bad form? The last race specifically at Maryland, I really thought he'd run okay.
Yeah.
He just didn't run. No. So, all right, you're going 4. I'm going 1 in the Iowa Sprint. Let's keep on going here to the Saylorville Stakes and another field of 6 and another race here where we are sprinting this time for the females. So a little bit different, of course, in that regard. Like I said, field of 6. I had an easier time with this one, not meaning that I'm going to hit it, but I did have an easier time with this one. What do you think on this one?
Tons of speed in this, didn't you think?
Yeah.
This is so there's lots and lots of speed. So you got to kind of figure out, okay, which one's going to hold on. I'm with you. I kind of settled on one fairly quick. I have 3 of them written down. I have the 1, the 4, and the 6 written down. Are we in the same park again?
Absolutely. That's the only 3 I'm interested in.
Yeah,
yes.
me too.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going with the horse that I just don't think I can pick against the 6.
Yep.
Olga Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 4 wins out of the last 5. They're all allowance races except 1, and that was, I guess, the prep for this at Prairie Meadows, and won by 5 3/4. Didn't beat anything, but that's okay. There's not anything in this, so that's that good. The loss was in a stakes at Aqueduct. Obviously, better competition. Probably, I can't pick against this horse that's won 4 out of 5 unless there's something in there that's better. I think the 4 is kind of interesting. Scott Young, we know him well from the Oklahoma circuit.
Yeah,
I think he's a very good trainer. I can't get past the last race. I mean, the horse has speed, might get out in the lead, has done that, but he did it at Sam Houston. He did it at Will Rogers. Come on. He did win second at Oakland in allowance. So that opened my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, he got beat by Taxed that day as well. And we know Tax is a pretty solid filly.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But finished 7th in that 100K stakes at Lone Star, which I know is a little better, but 7 and lose by 12 3/4.
Yeah.
After he had the lead, I can't do it. So I'm going 6. I like the 4 as maybe a swing and upset, but I just can't go that far. And then Unsung Melody has been in some pretty good races as well. I can see this horse maybe winning, but the horse hasn't won in quite a while. So I'm going with the 6. Come on, Ogle.
Yeah, I think Ogle Isabel is an easy pick in this one. I think she'll dominate this race. Look for 2 in a row. She dominated at Prairie Meadows last time out in the local prep race for this one as well. David Cohen back on again. I think he'll kill it in this spot. I like Olga Isabel a lot. The 4 horse, interesting horse. I think if the 6 doesn't show up, it isn't quite 100%, doesn't quite run back to that last race. I think the 4 is the one you need to use. Another one that's just kind of, the race at Will Rogers, it was what it was. It's a win. It's a stakes, but we know what it's like at Will Rogers. Yeah. His other races just haven't been quite up to snuff. I don't think she's going to be good enough in this spot, but I do think the 6 gets it done. I really like Olga Isabel. And like I said, this one didn't take long. And you mentioned a lot of speed in the race. We're drawn outside here. So if the speed does kind of materialize, the 6 can kind of just sit off of it. And if not, then she can just take the lead. So I really love the draw. So give me the 6 as well. That seemed like a pretty easy one. All right.
Easy.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. Not so easy here.
This one's not easy.
No. So race 8 is the Prairie Gold Lassie Stakes. We are sprinting here for the 2-year-old fillies. We have a field of 12. This is going to be quite the field. We saw some wackiness last year in these races up at Prairie Meadows. What about this year? Like I said, this is not quite as easy. What do you like coming up at this race?
Well, 2-year-old fillies this time of the year. Are you kidding?
Yeah, at Prairie Meadows, and there's 12 of them.
Come on. This one you better go. If you're pick 4, whatever, pick 5, whatever you're in, you better go deep with this one, because you just look. That's I wrote down like 4 of them. I could have wrote down more than that. Let's just go. I wrote down the 1. Okay, ran 1 time.
Yep.
1 by 4 at Hawthorne.
Yep.
Well, okay. So what? Then the 2. ran once in Indiana, won by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's pretty impressive, but what to run against. Then I have the 4. The Southern Asmussen horse again. La Peroux's going to ride the horse.
Yeah.
I think that means something. To me, it was a claiming race at Churchill, but it was $100,000 maiden claiming race,
Right.
which in my opinion, is a hell of a lot better than the 1 and the 2 one.
Yeah.
Where they're at. So 9-2. Trying to figure that out, really, to be honest, why the horse is only 9-2. Then you have the 8 Baytown Butterfly that won at Churchill and then came back to Saratoga last year and lost by no, that was at Belmont Day.
Yeah, that was Belmont Day. Yeah.
Finished 4th in a stakes race.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. So I like that one. And then the 9 won at Churchill also. So I'm leaning towards the 4, the 8, and the 9, simply because I feel like their maiden races are better than the other ones. So I like the 8 a lot because of that stakes race at Saratoga, and I think that puts them a little bit above the 4. So I'm going 8, 4, 9.
Well, you didn't mention the horse I'm going to put on top.
Oh my God, who's that?
That's the first-time starter. I like number 3, Rich City Girl, on top in this spot. First-time starter for Larry Ravelli. I thought it was interesting. Ravelli brings 2. The number 1 horse that you mentioned, She's a Funky Drummer, was a 4.5 length winner at Hawthorne. David Cohen was aboard for the ride.
Oh, and he's riding.
David Cohen's now on the 3, Rich City Girl. You look at the workouts from Rich City Girl. This one really, really runs fast early in the mornings. Now it's at Hawthorne. Now we're at Prairie Meadows. It's a stakes race, but to debut in a stakes race and you get Cohen, who won on the debut or last time out for Ravelli, it tells me that Ravelli likes the 3 the best. So I went Rich City Girl on top here. But
if you're gonna go and upset, you might as well do it in this race. That's for sure.
I have a feeling Rich City Girl will be about 3-1 at post.
Do you really?
I really do. You look at the works, you look at Ravelli and what he does with first-time starters. You look that this horse got Cohen aboard. Another race, I think David Cohen's going to kill it in this race. And then you look at the breeding. City of Light, obviously a very good sire out of a Warfront mare. I mean, this horse is bred to be very good and maybe even bred for the turf at some point as well. But we're here at the dirt now. But look, I really believe this could be a nice one. But look, it's going to be very tough, I think, for a first-time starter to win it. But you also look at this field, and it's like there's nothing just fantastic. Like she's good enough, she can do it. I also like the 9. I think Spanker Boom is certainly a horse that has the most classy, quote-unquote, classy maiden special weight win being at Churchill Downs. Good connections here as well with Johnny Ortiz and Ricardo. 3-9, maybe the other Ravelli, the 1, like that horse a little bit. The rest of them, I mean, they're 2-year-old fillies. Anybody could jump up really and win, but those are kind of the 3 that I could make the most logical sense for.
All right. We're different on that one. But like I said, anybody can win this one.
Yeah, I think so.
I would go 6 or 7 deep and try to go really low in the race we just talked about before that, and you can go pretty low in the first one, I think, too.
Yeah, you got to rely on Olga, I think, and then just go as deep as you can the rest of the way with this one, because this is, like I said, I have a good feeling that Rich City Girl is going to be a pretty nice horse. Everything kind of says she is, but at the same time, it's a first-time starter in a field of 12, and they've all won except for her. I believe that's the case. Some of these other ones, no, the 10 has not won. So, but they've all run, obviously, except for her. So, look, I don't know. I may be.
That's a good angle.
Yeah, could run a good second or something like that as well. So, all right, you're gonna go. What'd you say you're going with the 9, right?
The 8.
Oh, you're going with the 8, and I'm gonna go with the 3. Okay. All right, let's go to the final race on. The final stakes race, I should say, on Friday. It's the Iowa Distaff. Back to a field of just 7 here, so not quite as big of a field. Mile and 16th, $100,000. The purse. I thought this was a little bit of a tricky race here. What did you think of the Iowa Distaff?
Yeah, I agree. This one can go several ways. I wrote down 4 of them. I'm really kind of serious about 3. I did write the 3 down, but the more I look at the 3, I don't like that one quite as well. Probably has been running at much better places, but then I looked at the 4, Lacey Be Good, that had won 5 in a row until Pimlico, and just got bumped at the start, was pressured inside, a lot of trouble, just ran awful. Lost by 15 3/4. I'm sure they were pretty disappointed in that one. That was in May. So it's well rested. Had won 5 straight, like I say, 4 of them pretty good allowance races. 3 of them were at Delta, though, so you got to kind of look at that. But then came up to Oaklawn and ran a really good race and won a good allowance there. So I really like that one. Take Me Serious is another one. Just seems to hit the board every time. Last 10 starts, 5 wins, 2 seconds, 3 thirds. Has a stakes win, but again, hasn't run in just really great tracks. So you got to look at that one. Also an Okie bred. And then the 7, I kind of like that one as well. 3 straight races at Churchill, has 2 wins and a second in allowances. Also, Granite Ellis had a good win coming off a long layoff in May. Pretty hard not to take this one. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the 4, Lacey Be Good. So I like 4, 7, 6.
Yeah, the 4, I'll talk about that one first. Definitely a horse that was coming up 2 races back, coming up from Oaklawn, or coming up to Oaklawn after those Delta romps, and you kind of thought, okay, here's the test, and it was, but she passed it with flying colors, just dominated the race.
Yep.
But okay, she's the real deal. Yeah, the Pimlico race last time out, it was not a good beginning for this horse, and kind of just up against tougher for sure. Shotgun Hottie won that race at Pimlico that we're talking about. That's a horse that came back and finished second last weekend to Cilia in the Fleur de Lis. So that's obviously a pretty nice horse there that she got beat by. Of course, wasn't really competitive. That's kind of the bad news on it. Speaking of Cilia, Magic Loot was beaten by Cilia last time out by a lot in the Shawnee. So, yeah, a couple of horses there that that's kind of, they've been up against the better ones and they haven't been able to get the job done. Take Me Serious, you mentioned that one, the Okie bred, another Will Rogers Down Stakes winner, did it twice. That's tough to do. Just kidding. Also got beat by Playson, the horse that we talked about in the last race. So almost won all 3 stakes races there at Will Rogers this year. So I talked all around and I'm going on the 7. Pagali, I believe is how you pronounce the horse's name. I mentioned the races, right? We're at Delta at some points with these other horses I'm talking about, Delta and Will Rogers and all these places. You mentioned it. 3 races at Churchill Downs, 2 wins in a second. I think she's been facing better horses. I do like Lacey Be Good, does have that nice one at Oaklawn. That is good. But I just think the 7's been a little bit classier at these higher tracks. So I'm going to go the 7 on top, and your official on top was the 4, correct? All right. So 7 and 4. Have we agreed? We've only agreed on Olga in the 7th race so far, correct?
Right. But we've been close, except for the 8th race.
8th. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Saturday now. What do you say?
Good. Yep.
We'll go to Saturday. We'll go to the Prairie Gold Juvenile Stakes first. So the 2-year-olds will kick off the stakes racing on Saturday. We had 12 fillies for the filly version of this race. We only have 6 for the male version of the race here. We're going 5.5 furlongs, $100,000 the purse. We do have a first-time starter in this race as well. I believe the 6. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The 6 is not the first-time starter, but a maiden. So one horse still a maiden. What do you think? Who do you like in this one?
Well, this is kind of at least there's only 6. You didn't have to look at very many.
This race, doesn't look very good to
No, it
on
does not.
paper. This
Mm-mm.
ain't much.
No, again, it's so difficult. I mean, so you got Jet Sweep Joe, the favorite, I guess, because broke its maiden at Keeneland, I guess. Then ran into stakes at Keeneland, eighth, but it has been. No, that was at Churchill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lost by 11.5. I guess, I don't know, probably better than anything else has done. Mission First, the 3, won by a neck and a maiden at Monmouth. Ho hum. Then you got Asmussen again. Won another one of those 100K claimers at Churchill. To me, it's better than winning a maiden special weight at Monmouth. So got Taurus aboard. Got White Sands. Won by 9 lengths for Wesley Ward. I think that's a Belterra.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to hold some credence to that? I don't know. So you know where I'm going. I'm going with the 4.
Yeah.
And then I like the 1 second. So 4-1 for me.
Yeah, Kevin B says it smells like a Wesley Ward rat. He's talking about the 5 White Sands. So I'll start with White Sands. Yeah, 9.5 length victory at Belterra. So that's not. I mean, Wesley Ward will sometimes take a horse to a smaller track.
Sure.
He's more. He'll just kind of place those 2-year-olds wherever he can find races. However, showing up at Belterra, that's not a great sign. Not at all. When you look at all the options this horse had, they were running 2-year-old races up at Belmont at the Big A. They were running them obviously at Churchill Downs. He could have went down to Gulfstream. They're running races there. These are all places Wesley Ward shows up. Yeah. He shows up at Belterra for this one. That does kind of tell you this is not a great horse. This is like not a horse they have high hopes for.
Yeah, it's like when Asmussen sends one to Oakland, or not Oakland, to Will Rogers.
Yeah.
You automatically go, okay, he just wants to try to get a win somewhere, but he doesn't really like that horse that well. Yeah.
Now, here's where the problem kind of becomes, and I'll just go through them. You did as well. You do have Jet Sweep Joe, who broke the maiden at Keeneland, and then was a well beaten 8th in that stakes race. I believe that was on Kentucky Derby week. I can't remember if that was Thursday, maybe, of Kentucky Derby week. So again, pretty light on the resume. The 2 Mo Lute, that's an Iowa bred that lost by 12 against Open Company before beating Iowa breds. So that's exactly cream class. The 3 is a Pennsylvania bred who won by a neck at Monmouth on debut. The 4, like you said, had to drop to the 100K claiming level to win. And I know your point on that. Hey, it's a 100K claimer. That's not like it's a bad race. The only flip side of it is when you're this early in your career and you drop down to the claiming ranks that fast, it does kind of tell you that the trainer kind of has lost hope for you, kind of believes you're not that good.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned the 5 winning at Belterra and the 6 still a maiden after finishing 3rd just 8 days ago at Prairie Meadows. So it's a yuck race. Like there's just
got to go with some class a little bit. So, just something that's kind of classy. And that's why I settled on the 1 and a 4.
Man, I can't do the 4. I don't know. I went back and watched the race. I don't know.
Didn't win by much.
No, and neither did the 3 up there at Monmouth.
No.
I do think the 3 second time out, stretching out in distance, I think that's all going to help.
Here's one thing. You might be overthinking this because you're saying you're looking for a good horse. There's not one in this race.
No.
And there never is one in these races.
No, that's true.
I mean, I don't mean to knock Prairie Meadows at all, but this is not a classic race that a great racehorse is going to come out of.
No. I don't know. I think if the 1 can get out of the gate, he might be the one to beat.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Jet Sweep Joe having that stakes experience, having it against a lot tougher horses, if he can get out of the gate, I think he can win. So I went number 1, Jet Sweep Joe on top. I've got no confidence in any of these horses. I like 1, 3, 5, 4, maybe. That's how I kind of look at it. Just not a good race at all. So I went with the 1. You go with the 4. Let's talk about something a little better now. Let's go to the Iowa Oaks. I think it's a good one, and this is kind of I think for me, well, I'll introduce it. Iowa Oaks, race 7 on the card here. Going to mile 16th, $225,000 the purse here, and I think for me, this is going to be much about the Brad Cox kind of going a single with the Brad Cox horse and hoping that horse comes through.
Me too.
Because I think Impel is easily the horse to beat here at Iowa. Number 5, Impel, 6-5 on the morning line. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but she seems to be very tough. Now we're getting reports Impel goes to Indiana. Of course, Indiana running their big races as well. So I'll just say this. If Impel's in, I think she wins.
Well, does Indiana have a race with a purse like this that the horse could get in?
I think it's a little bit higher of a purse. I'll look here. Hold on.
Well,
she's also entered into the Indiana Oaks. The Indiana Oaks is a grade 3, worth less money, but is a grade 3 race. And look, I think when you look at the race at Indiana, she probably is going to be tough to beat in that one as well.
Okay. Well, I said I like this race because it's the easiest. And, I didn't spend a lot of time on this one. 2 wins, then a 3rd in a grade 1 and a 2nd in a grade 2. Well, what have any of the others even done in it that's even anywhere close to that?
Yeah.
Hasn't run since May in the 8 bells. So the horse is well rested. A little surprised it hasn't run since then. But anyway, I couldn't find anything bad about it. If you need a single, you do. You look at Asmussen got one again. It's a gun runner horse out of a mare from Tappet. The breeding is very good. That might be one that you look at a little bit. That's the 2, Deviletter or whatever it is. 2 wins and a 2nd. 2nd was in the stakes, but hasn't ran in tracks that Asmussen usually runs his good horses in. So you got to look at that too. I just don't see anything else though.
Yeah, if Impel doesn't show up, I think it's all about the 1 Shimmering Allure making it 2 in a row there at Prairie Meadows. I think that's a horse that looks just to be a little bit better than the rest of them, a little classier than the rest of them.
Well, it has. Look at what the horse it ran in. I mean, lots of great grade 1, a grade 2. Finished 2nd in a grade 2, McPeak horse. So it's run around the country, ran everywhere, just like his horses do. So
yeah, I think the 2 would be interesting for Asmussen. I agree. I think that is kind of the other one to kind of look at here. And like I said, if Impel comes out, maybe use the 1 and the 2. I think it will be interesting to see what happens with Impel. I think either race, it's going to be pretty easy for her. And you said it. Look at the horses. Okay, so she lost to Leslie's Rose and just FYI.
Yeah.
At Keeneland. No problem.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, 2nd in the 8 bells last time out. I was super high on this horse going into that Ashland, and I didn't exit it just hating her, but she certainly kind of showed, this race, like the Iowa or Indiana Oaks, seems to be where she fits best. So, so 5 for both of us.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go 2, I'm guessing, if she scratches?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go
or the 1. Either one. I could be talked into either one of those.
I think, honestly, as I look at this further, if she does scratch, the 2 might get the lead by herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2's ran okay. I mean,
yeah, give me the 2 if the 5 scratches.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. Give me the 2. I don't want Shimmering Allure. I want the 2. Okay.
Okay.
I'm with you. All right. Let's keep going here. Iowa Derby up next, a field of 11 this year for the Iowa Derby. This is always kind of a fun race. You know, you either get a horse that's really good, you get a short field, but you get to see a good horse, or you get this, which is just a mess of horses here. Race 8 on the card, $250,000 a purse, mile and a 16th. They'll go here. Field of 11, favorite going to be number 9, just a touch. He does seem to stand out quite a bit when you look at the rest of this field, but he's coming off a 20th place effort in the Kentucky Derby last time out. Somebody's got to run last, and it was him. All right, Papa Dude, does he bounce back here? Just a touch. What do you think?
I don't think I've ever got the Iowa Derby right. I'm not sure.
You probably got it right the year Hansen ran.
I don't think so. Yeah, there's another horse in there.
Hansen was like 1 to 100 and in like a 4-horse field.
Okay, well, I probably got that one then. Yeah, you're right. I probably didn't bet it though, because he was
probably
1 to
not
100. So
right.
Yeah, I just it's always hard. This one is always like, even when they have a quote unquote standout horse or one that's better than, it looks like better than the rest, sometimes they don't run good up there.
Well, before you go on, let me read these off. I can tell you exactly who I got right and who I got wrong.
Okay.
So how did he do that? I did not get last year.
No.
Ain't Life Grand? Nope, didn't get him.
That was a surprise.
Stiletto Boy? Nope.
Nope.
Acri? I don't even know who that is.
No, never heard of it.
Top Line Growth? No.
These are some real classic winners here, let me tell you.
Oh, these are horrible. High North for Brad Cox. I think I may have picked High North.
High North. Yeah, but what did he ever do after that?
Nothing.
I know.
Hintz won this race. I don't think I picked him.
No, but I thought, he was okay.
Now, here's one I picked, and this was a good one. American Freedom.
That's a good one.
That was Bob Baffert's horse.
I probably picked that one.
Yes. Bent on Bourbon in 2015. Nope.
No.
Jessica Starr, definitely not, in 2014. Looking Cool in 2013. I was there.
Cool.
Yeah. 2012 was Hansen. Let's see. 2011 Prayer for Relief. I did pick that horse.
Yeah, I think I did that one.
And let's see. 2010 Concord Point. I did not pick that one. So yeah, crazy.
These are tough.
Yeah, and it looks like if Bob Baffert has had a couple of horses come in here and be good afterwards. Other than that, not much. So
they don't do too well. So
what is just a touch? I mean,
well, just a touch. He only lost by 54, 54 lengths, and of course, when you stop, that's kind of what happens. So the whole thing is, before that, he broke the maiden, second in the Grade 3 Gotham. Deterministic is decent. Then Sierra Lone beat him by a length and a half in the Bluegrass. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the Kentucky Derby. So he hasn't run since then. He's out of Justify. So, I mean, he's got everything it takes. Just what happened in the Kentucky Derby? That's are you taking a big risk betting him? Probably. All right, so you go back up to the 4 Northern Flame. We've all heard of that one. Been everywhere. Has ran in huge races. But let's look at his last 5. Okay, he won an allowance at Oaklawn in January. Moved him to the Rebel, finished 3rd, not bad. Then he went to a Grade 3 at Turfway, 8th, lost by 9. Then he went to the Pat Day Mile, tried him at a mile, lost by 6, finished 9th. And then the Matt Winn, he finished 7th and lost by 18. So no, he's not going to win this, I don't think. And then Asmussen's got Dymatic. That's one. The last 2 races, not too bad. Didn't run well in the Rebel, didn't run well in the Arkansas Derby. He is out of gun runner. We know how Asmussen gets these horses to improve as we go along. I think he's dangerous. I think the 8 is. So I got the 8 and the 9. I'm going to bet on Brad Cox to get that 9 to run better, and I think the 9's a little better. So I'm going to go 9-8.
if you cross off the Derby, which, I mean, for
You
me,
can't.
the Derby is never really a relevant
No.
data point. Honestly, when I look at other races, it's
No.
just not. Weird things happen. Let's analyze the Bluegrass. We're just a touch got second. Okay.
Mhm.
He got beat by Sierra Leone, obviously second Kentucky Derby, third in the Belmont. Nice horse.
Good horse.
The fourth place finisher of that race was Dornock. Dornock won the Belmont.
Yeah.
The seventh place finisher of the race was Seize the Gray. Seize the Gray won the Pat Day and won the Preakness.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't just a touch, if he's any good at all,
He
just absolutely dominate
field
this
away.
field.
Yes.
I mean, you look at what he's done. I would think the biggest thing, the Gotham for me was the one race that he got beat by Deterministic. Deterministic's terrible. I don't know what happened that day. Deterministic looked great, and Just Touch just was okay. But I thought that in the Bluegrass,
Well, the track was sloppy. Would that have mattered? I mean,
maybe the track, but he won on a sloppy track on debut.
Yeah.
I just have to sit here and go, look, Just a Touch is the best horse in the
Won't
race.
they send him to the lead and say, go win this thing?
I don't know how you don't. I would treat him like, okay, we have a field of 11. If he breaks, just get him in front. They'll never get him. They're not going to catch him. These horses aren't any good. That's what I would do. And to me, like, if he gets ran down by Dymatic, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, if Just a Touch can't win this race, close the door on him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to beat this field. You've been competing against horses that won Triple Crown races or were very close to winning Triple Crown races. Literally, he was a nose away from running against all three Triple Crown race winners in the Bluegrass. The Bluegrass was a nose away from producing all three Triple Crown race winners this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Just a Touch was right there. Now, now you're saying you got to beat Next Level and Dymatic and Northern Flame. I mean, come on, you got to do it. If you can't, then you're done for me.
You have to win this race.
Yeah. I went the 9. Look, I do think there is a lot of pace. I do think the 8 is getting better. He's progressing, but look what he did when he faced the Arkansas Derby and Rebel competition. He wasn't, you'd have to find you had to get a periscope out to find him. He was nowhere to be found. He dropped down an allowance. He still couldn't win. Okay, he did win the allowance 2 races back. Mm-hmm. He's out there at Lone Star and he can't win. He got beat by EJ, won the Cup. He's not awful, but he couldn't catch him. So look, I think it's a similar situation. I think if you're going to go too deep, go ahead and put the 8 on the ticket. Mm-hmm. I do think the pace will set up for him. I do think he'll come running. But I think that the 9 has to win. I mean,
well, I agree, but I don't think I can single him. You're already single in the 5. So
it depends on if Impel shows up. If Impel shows up, I'll probably play Dymatic. But if not, I think Just a Touch becomes a single. And I mean, look, the other thing is, like, Next Level, I guess maybe that's a horse to look at. But
but God, look at his.
He's been awful. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has ran in better races.
Yeah.
But
if the 9 didn't show up and the 8 is just kind of not quite good enough, you could see a major upset here.
Oh yeah,
like massive upset. I could see it happening with a horse that like Kitty Hawk. Where you like, what? Yeah. So I could see it happening, but I think it's Just a Touch all the way here. I really do.
You too.
All right. We're both going 9 now. We saved the hardest for last. This will be the last stakes race of the festival here. Race 9 on the card. Even though this race is in Iowa, believe it or not, this is the most important race at Prairie Meadows each and every year, even though it's called the Cornhusker. Cornhusker Handicap Grade 3 event, going a mile and a $300,000. The purse for this one, that got me right there. Shotty, good job. The Prairie Meadows Cornhusker Handicap, like I said, Grade 3 here. Field of 11. Quickly, I'll kind of explain. This race used to be ran in Nebraska at Axarben, and when Axarben went under, they moved this race over to Iowa. So that's why it is called the Cornhusker Stakes or Cornhusker Handicap. Of course, Cornhusker, you think of Nebraska, right? But we're here in Iowa. Anyway, field of 11. This is a nightmare of a race.
Yes. That's why
nightmare of the race. The favorite is Red Route 1.
Yeah.
That's sign number 1. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Where are you going with here?
No, I agree. You got to go deep in this one because there is no clear-cut favorite. I mean, if Red Route 1 is the favorite, and that's no knock on Red Route 1. I mean, this horse, you know exactly what the horse is going to do.
Yeah. And
it's just, will the pace set up for him to make the run he has to make? So but again, that doesn't happen very often. He'll be there. It's just, can he, get up there?
Mm-hmm.
Love him. Love to watch him. Love to watch him make that kick. It's always fun. And he'll get up there close. But let's see, only once out of the last 6 or 7. Twice out of the last 9 times has he done that.
He's been close, like you said, a couple of times.
He's been close.
Yeah.
So if you're playing tries and all of that, you better put him on there. But can you pick him to win? No.
I think you almost have to. I can't believe I'm saying this. You almost have to use him though in pick 4s and pick 5s because, you look at like a race like the West Virginia Derby, he won it. The race like the Oklahoma Derby, he was just a nose away. The New Orleans down at Fairgrounds, like he has races. I mean, he's won races just like this. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
he's won $1 million. He's won $1.63 million. Almost $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's
also, it's important to note also he got beat last time out by Pyrenees and Kingsbarns. Kingsbarns came back to win the Stephen Foster. Pyrenees was second in the Stephen Foster, so that was a really good race. And then 2 races back, he gets beat by Skippy Longstocking, another Stephen Foster runner who was okay in that race, and Highland Falls, a horse that came back to win next out as well. So the 2 races he's lost, the recent 2 races he's lost, he finished behind some horses that are better than what he's facing here.
Yeah, that's for sure. In January, Saudi Crown beat him.
Yeah. Obviously a better horse that would be 1-9 against this group.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He finished second. So he's got a real shot to win this, but he's awfully hard to put on top.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at what's in here, he doesn't have to beat much.
No.
So you start looking for the speed. Okay, you got the 3 has shown speed. Unload. He's 20-1. That's another Asmussen horse, relatively lightly raced. 6 races. He does have a couple of wins. 1 last time out. He does have speed. I don't think Asmussen thinks much of him, but anyway, he will probably get the lead.
Is he kind of entered in here to make sure there's pace for Red Route 1?
I think so. I think it's exactly what he's done.
Yeah.
And then you got, I think the 4 as a Velociter, and he probably will go to the front. He has a win over the track, big deal, 50,000 stakes. But you really want to? He has won 7 times, but what's he won? Not much. I can't bet him. Can you?
No.
Another one I wrote down is the 1 might go out there, mine that star.
Yeah.
The 9, not really. So the other one, we got to talk about, I guess, is the 6, the second favorite.
Yeah.
Hit Show. What's he done though? I mean, he is well rested, and he did win an allowance in his first start since September. And he won that in May, and that was a warm-up to send him somewhere. So you got to look at this horse. He's well rested. He did win an allowance. Look what he's running. He ran the Oklahoma Derby, the Jim Dandy, the Belmont, the Kentucky Derby. Those were his 4 races previous to his win. He didn't do very well in any of those. But coming back off the layoff and winning, you got to look at him. He might be primed and ready to go. And on his best day, is he better than Red Route 1?
I don't know. I don't think so.
He may not be.
I mean, they did match up in the Oklahoma Derby, and Red Route 1 was able to beat him that day.
He did. But he only lost by 2.5. Remember, that was.
Well, and you remember he drew all the way to the outside, and he was wide, and
it's sixth when you lose by 2.5. That's not bad,
right?
That's better than most sixths. That's for sure.
He ran much. I think he ran his best ever race last time out at Churchill. Like I think that looked more like what we kind of thought he might end up being at last year at certain points, and he just never quite did.
Yeah,
that was a good race, I thought, at Churchill last time out.
Yeah, he ran pretty good in the Belmont. He lost by 2.
Yeah, he did, but
he ran okay.
He was kind of most of that year last year. He kind of just in those big races, you'd always go, he ran okay, but he never was really threatening to win.
No, and no. Maybe we can say he doesn't have a kick. He can't finish. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with him.
So I don't know where to go with this. I have no freaking idea. I don't really like Trademark that well. I don't. No. Heroic Move won the Sexton Mile last time out, grade 3.
Yeah.
But it's a mile.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You got a horse like Speed Bias at 15-1 that just was so close to winning a lot of big races, and a lot of races kind of like this. Yeah. Finally won. Maybe does that kind of get the corner turned? I'm not sure. Probably not, but at 15-1 might be worth it. I think Escapeologist. That's an interesting horse. At a big price. You got Guntown coming in at a bigger price, but he lost to Speed Bias, but maybe he can kind of be up there. It's a mess. This is a mess. Yeah. 8 Life Grand, obviously the horse I'll be rooting for.
But
I mean, was
he didn't even win the prep.
No, was 6-5 to win this race last year and ran well, but got beat 2 lengths and then got hurt and has come back this year, guys. And they've really, really thought coming into that Oaklawn race, he was training fantastic, and he ran a sluggish race like he needed one. They really believed in the Essex he would run huge. He didn't. They thought, okay, now we've really got him back for the next race at Oaklawn. He didn't. Like I said, the prep, he takes the lead and then somebody catches him. It's like, he's not the same, And I can't pick him in this race.
No, I can't even. You can't even win the prep.
Well, that's just it. I was watching that race, and when he got in front, I thought, well, maybe he's kind of back and he's going to run okay here, and then maybe that's going to set him up, and then he gets run down, and it's like, it's just not. It's not good enough. He didn't look the same.
Happen. And you can't. I cannot pick him or even consider him when he didn't win the prep.
Well, and I picked him last year.
The prep wasn't nothing, really.
Yep. No, I picked him last year, and look what happened. So it'd be funny if he won this year when I'm doubting him. You look at his Iowa Derby win; he was 11-1 that day. He'll probably be about that for the Cornhuskers. So, but again, it's hard to pick him.
You just can't.
I went a lot of different ways, and it is not a fun race to pick. I can't believe. I mean, I think Red Route 1 is the most logical winner of the race.
Okay, is there enough pace for him?
I think there's plenty of pace. I think there's some cheap speed in this race that'll speed it up.
I do too, and that's what he got to have. So, bottom line is, okay, it is cheap speed. I just went through the cheap speed.
Yeah,
3 and 4 and 1 maybe. They're not that good. The 4 is kind of scary a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he better than Hit Show? Is what it maybe comes down to. I think he is.
I think he is too.
I think he's classier.
Yeah. I
Are
hate,
you going to pick?
I hate this pick. But, you got to, one thing about racing, you kind of got to forget about your past
Well, let me
bias.
ask you this. How much emphasis or credence or whatever the word is do you place on his show coming off the long layoff and winning that allowance race in May? Does that impress you?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good race. Yeah. But it's kind of a typical Brad Cox race off the layoff. They usually come back and run well.
Okay.
I think it sets up okay for him. I think, unfortunately, I think both of them, you got to use them.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
They've run a hell of a lot better races than the rest of them,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what's going to happen. Kevin B just laid it out. I will be so mad. But look, I feel like he makes the most sense. You look at the rest of these horses, they're not great. The speed does set up, and it's not like he's been running behind some bad ones. Like, he's been behind some pretty good ones. So, whatever.
I don't know. It's going to be, these last two are always hard. They're hard. They're hard to get.
Yeah. Hopefully I can go fairly deep in this one.
I don't know why we can't.
Yeah.
Because you should single impel. If he shows, that's a key.
Mm-hmm.
Then if it doesn't, I don't know I think you can go 2 though, if he doesn't show up.
Gabe asks, is Prairie Meadows doing a pick 5? Yeah, it'll be race 7 on Saturday is where it'll start. Race 7 on Saturday, and then I believe they'll do race 7 on Friday as well. Let me make that. Let me see that real quick. Yeah, race 7 on both days will be pick 5s at Prairie Meadows. I think that might be it. Because they start the cards off with quarter horse races, so I don't know that there'll be an early one or not. I'm kind of looking through this now. It looks like a bunch of pick 3s, and then a pick 5 race 7 and a pick 4 race 8 is how they're going to play it. So there you go. Let me look here. Is there anything else we want to talk about? No, I think we got everybody covered. All my notes. I think we've talked about everybody that we want to talk about. Anything else to kind of wrap us up here
On this card?
Yeah,
I think we got it. Don't you?
Okay, I do too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good betting card for sure. There's some races that are going to screw you up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't watch it, and then there's a couple of easy ones. Should be.
Yep.
So that's good too. So.
Yep. I think both the cards are good enough to play. They do have some shorter fields in some of the races, but there's enough that I think this thing is going to be, I think if you're playing, for example, the pick 5, I wouldn't be worried about it not paying much. Like I think there's enough in it, enough intrigue to play it. It's kind of one of those weird weekends. It's the weekend before Saratoga, and you got Belmont, everything going on there, but you're going to go to Prairie Meadows and you're going to go to Indiana this week at Horseshoe Indianapolis. That's where the best racing is on Saturday. So it's kind of the weekend in between here for that. So
yeah, it's going to be it'll be an interesting card to see what happens. It's always fun up there.
Oh yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Local post time for the Cornhusker 9:37. At PM. So it'll be a late night of racing both nights there for sure.
They'll have good crowds.
Yeah, the crowds up there at Iowa will be pretty good. I bet Indiana will get a good crowd as well. They're usually pretty excited about that. All right, that'll do it. Okay, you got anything else before we get off here?
Are you wanting to get off there? I guess. I mean, I got a question or two. If you want to.
No, I got plenty of time. I do. No, I don't have anything going on.
All right, I've got some goofy ones.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This can be anything.
Okay.
What is something that looks like, I know what I've got my mind's already. What is something that looks very easy, but it's actually very difficult?
Something that looks very easy.
You just see that and you go, God, that looks easy. But
yeah. I think golf, swinging a golf club, hitting a golf ball. That is for me. When you watch that on TV, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot to it. And then when you go out there and Kevin, when you go out there and do that, difficult.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say too. I mean, so many people, they go putt, and they putt well and they knock them in there, and then they think go to the golf course and get putt. No, completely difficult because it takes you 50 shots to get to the putting. And it does. You just, you think, okay, almost all of us played baseball. That ball's coming, it's moving at you.
Yeah.
And then here's a ball on a tee, stationary, and you should be able to hit it, but you can't. Most people can't hit it straight.
Yeah, it is. That's a really good way of looking at it. And it's strange that it does almost, I mean, I've played both. Obviously you have too. Sometimes it is easier to hit that baseball where you want it,
Oh, it is. You just can't. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, but
no,
it's a very difficult sport. Very hard.
Kevin says ice skating is one my friends say. That was not hard for me, but I could see that maybe for some it is. I picked that one up right away. That wasn't too bad.
Well, I think a lot of people think going to the racetrack and picking horses to win is pretty easy too.
Well, yeah. Well,
no, they'll always ask me, I've never been and go, now, how am I going to win some money? And I said, well, no, they'll go, what should I do? I'm sure you're asked that all the time too. We've talked about this before. You can't just, you can't explain how hard it is. It's just so hard.
Right. Yeah. There's so many different elements to it. You just kind of, try to go pick a winner. That's what I always
pick a winner and pick them any old way you want.
Yeah.
So Shoddy says riding a mule up or down mountains is kind of
well, yeah. That I would look at that and say it's hard though. That's kind of the thing. I don't watch a guy or gal riding a mule down a mountain and think it's easy. So that would be my thing on that.
All right, here you go. You're gonna like this one.
Okay.
I think I know your answer on this one too, because you may have done it before.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to give a lecture on something, on one thing, what would it be? Pretty obvious what you might say.
Well, as far as what I should or what I would want to, or what people would ask me to, what's
good at? What would you be really good at? What could you give an expert lecture on?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think horse racing obviously would be.
I would think you would be really good on that, but I would think you would be pretty good on developing a website.
Yeah, I think that would be one. I think running a business would be another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could do a few things like that.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. But I would think horse racing would be my answer because I have done those before. So I have to go with that.
Well, haven't you? Yeah, you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could get up and give a lecture on how to handle situations at school.
Right. Yeah.
How to handle parents.
Mm-hmm.
I very seldom have had trouble with parents.
Mm-hmm.
Very lucky. And I don't know why. I think I'm honest with them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some you can't get through to. You just might as well forget it. And they hate you and just stay away from them.
Yeah.
I tell young teachers, you're going to have trouble with some students and you can't do anything with them. Don't think you can. Don't hold it against yourself. There's just some you're not going to get through to. And you got to just stay away from them. Let them do their thing. And don't get yourself in trouble trying to help them because there's just some you can't. And, and the same thing with parents. Mm-hmm. There's just some that don't like you. They just don't like you for whatever reason there is. What do? You stay away from them. You stay away from them. Coaches, stay away from parents.
Yeah.
Just don't be close to parents because if you do and you become their friend, they want something.
Right. Yeah.
They expect something.
Yeah.
When I started coaching with Andy, one of the best coaches I've ever been around. He was very young. And I said, Andy, do not leave this locker room after the game till it's clear. We're going to go find somebody. We're going to find the custodian. And we're going to tell him, come down here and tell us when the parents are gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Avoid them. Avoid them after the game because then they'll go home. If they're mad, they'll go home and they'll cool off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do it at the spur of the moment. So, yeah. But anyway, if you're at trivia night, what category would you know the most about?
Well, I think that's an easy one again.
You can't say horse racing.
Well, no, like sports in general. Yeah, easy.
There's a lot of. I'm very good at history.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I'm really good at all history. Like if I ever watch geography too, Kevin. I'm pretty good at that. Like if I watch Jeopardy, history and geography, I usually can eat up pretty good. Movies, no. I am horrible at movies.
It's so weird because I've met Kevin B and I know Shoddy. I would have guessed history for Kevin, and I know Shoddy movies and TVs. So that's very interesting. You guys chimed in with that. Yeah. I don't know why, but I would have guessed history for Kevin B.
Really?
I don't know if that's good or bad or what that means, but when he said that, I was like, yeah, that didn't surprise me.
Yeah. I'm really good at old. I'm really good at old TV, but not new because I don't watch the new stuff.
I have a friend. I have two friends that they are like, they're like professional trivia players almost in a way. Mm-hmm. They're fantastic. And so
they got a lot of categories
when we go out because they'll kill everybody. So
really, they're good at a lot of categories.
Yeah. Oh, they're good at every category. He's smart at everything. Team? So she. So the funny thing, we played trivia one night, and their daughter is like, she inherited their genes. She's very bright, and they put Kelby and I on the daughter's team. Kelby was over, and she was so mad. So mad because she's like, I have to put these two on my team like we're never going to win. And I don't know we got into some category that Kelby and I knew a lot about. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what it was. And so we ended up winning. And ever since then, the daughter and I have been like, she's like, oh, no, you're great. I love you now, so it's just pretty funny how that works. But yeah. But anyway, if I need to win at trivia, I've got people I can go to. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to get a team that everybody's an expert in something.
Yeah, like I can't remember. Like I said, it was something random. It may have been some kind of TV. Kelby's pretty good with TV stuff, and he was just nailing them. And she was like, "Whoa!" It was quite surprising.
I can do old TV very well, but you get into the new stuff. No, same thing with music. Past the '80s, forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know something a little bit about country music, but anything else, like I don't know anything about it. So, but history would be and of course, sports. There's some sports though that I'm not, like soccer.
Yeah, no,
stuff like that.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either.
Yeah, trivia is fun. Very fun.
Anything else?
This one's pretty easy for me. What amusement park ride describes your life right now?
Well, roller coaster for you, for sure.
Yes,
I don't. That's a
thanks a lot.
I don't.
Well, you would kind of be a Ferris wheel, maybe.
I hate Ferris wheels.
Circular just kind of keeps.
I think this is a better one. We all agree fireworks are maybe the most overrated thing in the history of the world, right?
Yes. Didn't used to think that, but I have for the last 30 years, probably.
They became extremely expensive.
They're too expensive.
Yeah, it's like to the point. I was like, okay.
Well, you know what happened? They finally got to selling the big ones, like you see at these displays.
Yeah.
All over the place, and now you can, if you can get a group together and pool your money, you got a display like all the towns have.
Right. Yeah.
There's some people that they'll spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and they know what they're doing, and they just bam, 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 they're just going off just like a fireworks show in a city.
Don't take pictures of fireworks. Nobody cares. It sounds like Shoddy is triggered by this.
Nobody does because you can't duplicate what they really look like in person.
Very accurate. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They don't look like how they should look because you're meant to view them with your eyes. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's
Yeah.
like when you go to Colorado or the beach or somewhere and you think you're taking these beautiful pictures, which to you they are,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't come out right.
No.
The beauty of the mountains or the beach or whatever just doesn't come out.
Gabe says Iowans used to head to Missouri every year to buy a ton of fireworks. Now they're legal in Iowa, yet more expensive. So yeah. I know it's weird. It's weird. I never knew growing up that there fireworks are illegal in so many states.
Oh,
when
I
you
know.
travel, it's like, oh, well, you like, what the hell is this? You know?
I think they're illegal in Springfield.
Are they?
They used to be.
Bigger towns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Let's see. Any big plans for the 4th? Everybody's coming here for the 4th. Yeah. So
yeah, this is I was thinking the other day, I cannot remember a 4th of July, not either having it at my parents' house, or my house.
Right.
And we can't have one at my house this year because I don't have a house. So
right. You still could, but it wouldn't be at a house. No.
Well, we could have it here, but we would be a little cramped.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I had something it's funny. You remember Ryan, when Ryan was here, he was asking us celebrities we've met, sports celebrities we've met.
Yeah.
We're like, we really haven't met that many.
Mm-hmm.
How about this weekend? Shotty was asking about the Hawthorne trip.
Oh.
I got to meet Eddie Olczyk, and not only did I get to meet him, we sat at the same table for the tournament. So that was kind of cool. I thought
he's probably a good guy, isn't he?
He was the best guy.
Well, he acts it.
Like, so what happened was I got there early because I had Somich had to be there early for his show that he was doing. So I drove him, got there early. I just randomly sat down at a table, and I was just kind of studying the races, just looking at my iPad, and I hear his voice. He's like, "Hey, are you going to sit here?" And I looked up. I was like, "Oh shit, that's Eddie Olczyk." You know, I was like, I was like, yeah, I was, but like, if this is your table, I'll totally move. I don't care. He's like, no, it's fine. Sit down. It's like, okay. And so anyway, yeah, he was, the nicest guy, like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. No lie.
Really?
Oh yeah. He would, you never would have known like he was anybody really.
Yeah. He comes across that way.
Yeah, super good guy. Talked to him a lot. He wanted to talk racing pretty much 99% of the time. So we talked racing a lot. I did ask him about the hockey and everything like that. So he was definitely nice. And he definitely did not want to be seen or anything like that. Like he wasn't trying to make a big deal out of himself being there or anything like that. So that was cool. Yeah. I was super, super impressed by him. Like I said, super nice. And we just like anybody you would talk to that's into racing, you know, try to handicap the race together and then talking about what's going on, talking about favorite tracks, talking about all this stuff.
Oh, so, yeah. That's what he does. I mean, well, I guess is he still an analyst? I guess he is.
Yeah, he is. And we mentioned Nick Sievers. I want to mention Nick Sievers, obviously friend of the Racing Dudes. Met him in person for the first time, and God, what a nice guy he was. So it was Nick Sievers and I and Eddie and one of Eddie's friends, and that's all that sat there. And so anyway, Nick was kind of mentioned something about working when he's going to work next. You know, as far as the racing goes, he goes, "Shit, boys, I haven't fucking worked in years." He said, every other word was fucking, by the way. He said, I hadn't fucking worked in years, boys. He said, that isn't work.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
He said, when you're playing hockey for a living or you're coaching hockey for a living, he said, that's work. He said, this is not work, what I do. So I thought it was great.
That's just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was funny. He was talking about the hockey. And he said, I said, what do you think happened to Florida? And he said, you watch the games. He said, they fucking fell asleep. He's like, he said, they're damn lucky. He said, that would have been one of the most epic collapses, the most epic collapse ever, you know?
They dominated the first 3 games. Just dominated them.
Yeah. He said they were a team, and this is his opinion. They were a team that they were very good at getting to the type of game that they want to play, like excellent at it. He said, but they didn't get to their type of game in those 3 games they lost. And he said, when you let Edmonton skate up and down the ice on you, they're going to bury you.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. He goes, even though it got tight in game 7, it was more of a Florida style of game versus an Edmonton style of game. So it was interesting to hear that. But anyway,
I wanted to read Kevin's comment up here. It says, I didn't get to tell you guys, but first slow dance, remember we were getting on him about his wedding during the Belmont back in February. I think it was when he told us. Remember? Remember that?
I just read it. Go ahead and read it.
He said, I didn't get to tell you guys, but the first slow dance the DJ played at my wedding, a family friend whispered door knock on the Belmont in my ear. And it was like George Bush being told about 9/11. Well, my question to you, Kevin, is did you keep dancing like George Bush kept reading the book to those kids? Or did you go, yeah? Bush gets told about 9/11 and he just keeps reading the story to those kids.
I got to screenshot this and send it to you. That's Kevin. Goddamn, that's one of the funniest ones you've ever in your life. I'm sending this to Jared right as we are talking.
I just wish, Kevin, I'd never given you the advice that I did, because karma has come back to bite my ass many, many times since I gave you advice about your love life. I hope it's going really well for you.
Oh my God, that is top 2 or 3. That is top 2 or 3. God, that's funny.
That is good stuff. Oh, he says, I literally stared in the distance thinking, I have to know how this horse won the race. That's pretty good, Kev.
That's got to be a lie, right?
No, he's not lying. He's not lying. I'm surprised you didn't fall down.
I just sent it to Jared. He said, holy shit, I literally about fell out of my chair. Kevin making the days of the racing dudes.
Yeah.
My God, that's hilarious.
He said that was the exact face I made. I'm not kidding.
Caitlin was like, just go watch and come right back.
Well, okay. All right. She's proven herself.
Yeah.
Okay. You're dancing. I'm just guessing that was the first dance you guys were supposed to have after you married, and you got your wife saying, go watch the race, dumbass, because I know you're not going to pay any attention until you do. That's pretty good. Kevin, you got a good one there, buddy. Now, karma, come back and save me.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's funny.
I apologized.
Jesus, that is hilarious.
That's good. That's pretty good stuff. I think you're teaching her some stuff, or she's realizing she's got a horse racing junkie in there and nothing she can do about it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to end with that. We are. It's classic stuff. You're all on the Papa Dude bandwagon. Well, that's nice.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to come up to Saratoga, and you can meet these people in person.
I'm gonna have to do that. I don't really have a whole lot going in August at the moment.
Kevin tried to avoid us, but I was able to get his phone number from Shoddy, and I said,
"Oh, really?
Come over here. You better come over here right now."
Good stuff. Was Shoddy up there?
No. Shoddy did not come.
But she had Kevin's number.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
I don't know about Shoddy. She seems to have a lot of people's numbers.
She does. I think she had. I think Nick Seavers got a hold of me because of Shoddy as well. I didn't have Nick Seavers' number either. So
Shoddy gets around.
Right. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, she DM'd me on Discord. Yeah, I'm not on Discord, so there you go. That's why.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right, we're getting off here now. That was a great day. I agree. I'm trying to find it. This comment made me laugh too. I was trying to find it before we get off of here. I can't find it now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, here it is. It said, I witnessed Aaron scribble a pick 4 on a piece of paper, hand it to someone, and watch them cash for $1,000. Might have been the most impressive athletic feat in the history of sports. And that's a true story. That did happen.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do my best when I've had way too much and I just get on a piece of paper and I scribble stuff down.
Yeah.
That's when I do my
But
best.
you don't ever bet it yourself.
No. I bet probably what I gave out and it loses, but no, that bet did actually cash. Everybody that played to be serious. So because people take shit like that. You just said serious. The pick 5s, both the pick 5s, the pick 4, the pick 3s, all that did cash that day.
Yeah.
If you played the picks.
That's
So
good stuff.
I literally just scribbled down what I had on my picks to be clear, so I don't get emails and comments. That would happen. So anyway, that's not how it goes. Yeah, I was proud of that one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a good day. And you know what? If Mindframe wins the Belmont, it would have been a good Belmont day as well. Yeah, better Belmont day. It was okay. But anyway, all right, we're getting off here. We got to go. All right, guys, we will be back next week. Blinkers off. Special note, by the way, blinkers off will be Friday. We'll do blinkers off. We were going to do it today, but Belmont haven't drawn yet, so we kind of got to wait till they draw. So, all right, guys, we'll be off here, and we'll see you guys right back here next week for more Dudes Who Bet Sports.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.